But the deep dive that I did into the music and the lyrics before I started writing was just one of the most troubling periods of my life.
Quite emotional.
Yeah, I know. I did. You just, especially when you're hearing his voice and you know that he's not. And in the same with Amy, it's like they're no longer with you, and you're just going, oh God, why?
Matt, thank you so much for coming all the way here.
Yeah. Not that far.
I'm taking a piss.
20 minutes. It'll take me longer to get home because it'll be rush hour.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
we can talk for much longer if you want. That makes your life easier.
I need to be gone by 3:30.
Right. So we want to talk about your amazing career. Obviously, you're a really well-established screenwriter now, but it didn't start there. You started on the floor, if our research serves us correctly.
Yeah. We shouldn't really be here talking to you. You know what I mean? It wasn't a planned thing.
Really?
Anything. Like getting on the floor wasn't a planned thing.
Oh,
Everything's been a series of sliding doors for me.
So you always wanted to write and you
I didn't.
None of it?
No, none of it. Everything's been one big fat mistake. I mean, it's been 4 situations in my life where if that didn't happen, I wouldn't be here talking to you now. And one of them was, in order, sort of like the 4 big mistakes that have turned out really well was going to Liverpool College, and 2 girls, Bev and Michelle, said, do you want to come to the Hacienda in the first week?
Yeah.
That just blew my mind, right? The second one was writing into City Life, which was a magazine in Manchester, slagging off a book that I hadn't read.
Okay.
And the editor said, come in and see me in the new year. And that got me a job reviewing nightclubs.
Why did you slag off a book you hadn't
Because
read?
it was all about, so I was on the Manchester house music scene.
Yeah.
So, and this book was all about indie bands, and I'm saying that's not what's happening
Right,
on the
okay,
street.
you just got it wrong.
But I didn't even buy the book. I just sort of slagged it off. I'm sorry, Sarah Champion, if you're watching this, which you're not, but I slagged your book off and I still not read it. Then the third one was I was 3 hours late for an interview at Mersey TV for a runner's job on Hollyoaks. 3 hours because I was out the night before and was pissed.
Hacienda.
No, I was in Discotheque Royals actually because it was a Tuesday night. It was student night, and they still give me the job.
Wow.
They were that desperate, and that got me on. So I didn't mean to get a job on the floor.
Right.
It just happened, and then.
But you applied for that job?
No.
Oh.
So I was at City Life, and you met an array of media types.
Yeah.
Once you were in that magazine world, and one of them was a second AD, a freelance second AD,
okay.
and he went to work on holiday. He didn't even have a name yet. It was called Teen Soap Drama
was this at the very
Limited,
beginning?
right at the beginning.
wow,
They hadn't
okay.
even called it Hollyoaks. So on all the finance and the accounts and all that, it was Teen Soap Drama Limited. And he knew me, and they were desperate, and he knew that I was working for my dad at the time on the roof. So I was building Cheshire Oaks. I was actually, that's what I told my kids. I was building Cheshire Oaks. So I was laying the roof on Cheshire Oaks, and he said, do you want to come in and interview for a runner's job? And I said, yeah, get me off this roof, please. I ended up 4 hours late. So amazingly, I got that job. And that's when it started. I remember going into, seeing the Brookside sign in Childwall and just went, whoa, Brookie, man. I've got to make something out of myself. And then it gradually moved up to first AD in Hollyoaks Brookside into, clocking off and Queer as Folk, Red Productions, which I think we might be on the floor of, which is weird.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think they used to have this floor.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, RIP Red.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
And then the final thing was sort of writing a spec script going back to the Hacienda days, which was a film script about those days, and then giving it to Nicholas Schindler, which he never got made, but got me a brilliant agent, Sue Rogers, independent. I was ICM at that time. And then it just happened.
Once you were first in, what made you think, I want to write something?
Well, it kind of went Hollyoaks because I was reading so many scripts and I was just going, this isn't really very good. I know it wasn't probably the writer's fault. It was the format and the fact that
they've got to serve what their viewers want.
Yeah, but some of it was really basic. And then I kind of remembered because I remember, didn't you used to write nightclub reviews? I got sacked from City Life, by the way, for reviewing the wrong pub. I went to the wrong pub, and this it was supposed to be the Salutation in town. I went to this really dodgy one in Hume, and then wrote this awful review about it, slagging it off. And then the editor cottoned on, and the other pub withdrew all its advertising, so he sacked me. So that's why I ended up on the roof with my dad. But the thing was, I was a writer. I could write a nightclub review. I did that for quite a few years. It's only a tenner review per review, and I was probably still signing on at the same time. But then with the knowledge that I'd gained on Hollyoaks, I realized, couldn't you put that together? And I think the first storyline was something like I wrote for Jambo at Hollyoaks, and I gave it to my girlfriend at the time, and she said, this is really, really good. I went, yeah. And then she said, no, it is. So that's when it kind of sparked into it. So going into bigger set drama, sort of more quality kind of drama, no offense, Hollyoaks, but it's just seeing, and I was working with writers like Russell T. Davies and Paul Abbott, and getting to understand how they brought characters to the page and how they popped. Yeah. I think that's when I went, right, well,
great school.
Have a go. Just have a go. And then that
what have you got to lose, I suppose?
That spec script came out, and like having that northern voice as well. You just talking about that before. I think that really helped me going down to London, because it was pretty, and I don't think they get those kind of things.
That's one big thing I always say that it did help. I think it helped me stand out in a bit of a big, in a big pond. But do you think, so you're kind of saying, as when you went to London, you stood out from what, just your story stood out from what everybody else was saying? Yeah,
I think so. And I think they were looking for, they looked for those kind of voices, but because the script was really kind of well put together, I mean, at one point Jude Law was getting into it. Joe Wright's company was going to get involved, and this is the first thing I'd written. So I think because they saw that and I could back it up, and it wasn't just me sort of going in like Liam Gallagher saying, all right, they could actually have a script that could back it up. Then I think that helped in many ways. And it then kind of snowballed, but you're right. I think with working class accents or going in with that vibe, people are wary, and the only way to sort of like take them off that mode is to be able to back it up with your art, I suppose. Yeah,
brilliant. And then so you started writing for like Hollyoaks, Clocking Off.
Not Hollyoaks. I'd left them. So
you didn't. That's great. That's what you wrote for them.
No,
what you wrote for them didn't work.
No, it's a storyline that I was sort of like pitching and then writing to
so you didn't make it.
So I didn't make it because I'd left to go freelance at that time to go work as an AD with Queer as Folk. But with Hollyoaks, it was like, what was brilliant about Hollyoaks, it was so incessant, like the scheduling. You were constantly shooting. And you were constantly understanding the constraints of the script and the constraints of production. Yeah. And I think it was such a necessary part of my learning process to go in with that. It gave me a proper big advantage rather than going to some kind of screenwriting course or script writing.
That was going to say, do you ever feel like you were at a disadvantage because you didn't go to any screenwriting, or do you think you actually...
In some ways, yeah, because I really didn't pay attention to structure. And it's only recently now that I've gone, shouldn't I actually, invest in what the science of the industry? Because I just thought, I'm such a sort of flouncy artist. I can just,
just write nice words.
Spray it on the page and it just comes out perfect. And for a certain amount of time, that was my MO. It was like, that's how I worked. And it wasn't until about 5-6 years ago that I picked up, Save the Cat.
We thought that's
Save the Cat. And I went, oh, right. Yeah. And I put it into action on the script, and it actually worked. So, I mean, that sort of, not ignorance, but that sort of gap in my education of writing scripts, I think if I'd got onto that a bit earlier, it would have helped. So, but you can do that on your own. I don't think you necessarily have to go to a screenwriting course, which there are so many of.
Yeah, no, of course. And then do you find that there's a huge difference between prepping and research and writing a TV script to a film script, or do you think they're very similar? Have you got like different methods for doing both?
I think with TV, obviously it's long form. You're doing an 8-hour film. That's how I look at it. So, and the ending always has to be non-definitive. You have to leave it open because people want to buy, if possible, a second or a third season. So there is a difference, because I always like to work with endings and go back, which is, I suppose, why I gravitated to film in the first place. I just like definitive endings. I mean, I was brought up in the video shop at the bottom of the street, and I'm just watching films all the time rather than TV. Well, I think the research for me is pretty much the same. Is just get deep, get deep down and research so much that it has to come out of you. And it's interesting because I've just written a pilot and a couple of TV things that hopefully we'll get made, but who knows. And it felt slightly different only because of the open-endedness of it all.
Right.
But as the research process was pretty much similar.
And were they music-based TV shows?
Yeah, one is. It's been a really long process, but because LA had the fires and things like that, we were supposed to pitch it just before Christmas, and then everything got moved to April, and then I got to write the pilot, and then everyone goes away for summer, and then you do the first pitch. And so now I'm on the final pitch, which will be November. So
going back to like that whole process, do you enjoy pitching, or just does your head and you just want to be left alone to write, or do you not?
I hate it.
Okay.
I seriously hate it. I mean, it's performance. It is performative.
Yeah.
And I know it might not seem like it, but I'm kind of introverted in a way. Yeah, I have to force myself to sort of like talk sometimes.
Yeah.
I like going deep. It's not like I'm introverted and I think that's a bad thing. I actually enjoy being internal in your thoughts.
Yeah.
I think that's why writing's the perfect job for me in many ways, because no one's really telling me what to do. In fact, it'd be better if I was a poet, because then really no one can tell you what, because everything's internal, everything's visceral.
Yeah.
But with the scripts, obviously, someone will tell you what to do in the end. You'll always get your heart broken. But I think with pitching, I understand there's a lot of money in this game, and they have to know that you are able to communicate your ideas, and so it's a necessary evil, but for me it is evil. I find it very evil. It's just not for me, so I have to really, really practice at it.
Yeah, and
the Americans are brilliant at it.
Yeah,
because that's their everyday way of being.
Yeah,
and I know that's really generalizing.
No, I get what you mean though. Like, I don't have to pitch like you would. Usually I can just have quite an informal conversation in a room, so it's not as bad for me. But
yeah,
I watch when I'm on pitches with writers, and I just think I couldn't do that. I don't know if I'd be able to sustain for 40 minutes, 45 minutes, the same enthusiasm the 10th time as I did the first time.
Yeah.
And that's the bit I would struggle with. And I know I've miss bits out because my brain's getting bored of saying the same thing over and over again. And I wouldn't be able to do it, because I'm like you, I'm sociable, but I am quite introverted at times. Like, I'll go and have a big sleep tonight when I get in, because I've been really sociable today.
Yeah, same here.
I get what you mean.
That's exactly where I am now. That's where I was just before coming into the studio. I am now finishing the touches on a 25-minute pitch that I have to do to all the buyers in November. So everyone that's big will be listening to me, and I just hate it. I can't. But I've done a good job. I mean, I've written the 20 odd pages, but just the thought now of having to practice Zoom practice to get it into a state where I am selling. You become a salesman.
It's a vulnerable place to be, isn't it?
You become a total salesman.
Yeah.
And writers aren't meant to. We're the worst people probably to sell anything, and yet that's where it starts. So I understand the necessity of it all, but it took me a long time. Even in the British way of doing it, it's kind of different. It's because you give a written pitch and you maybe give a treatment. You don't go into the room particularly until you're a bit further down the line. But Americans can't be asked reading anything.
Yeah.
So they won't read it. So they want to see that personality, and they expect everyone, the British is like, fucking Damian Lewis, you know what I mean? It has that presence.
Yeah.
So it's difficult when you go in and then you're not that stereotypical Brit either. with the transatlantic drawl, or, that permatan, or someone who's been in LA for quite a long time.
Yeah.
So your idea, and that's one of the reasons why I've probably not worked in America as much as I thought I might, is because I think to be able to be a success over there in Hollywood, you really have to imbibe it. You have to live it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go over there, and you probably have to live there for 2 years and understand the way that they work.
It's such a different system over there, and I'm still learning. We've got a lovely team out there who are kind of guiding us through everything. And it's so mad how different everything is.
Are they Americans?
Yeah, they're Americans.
Yeah, so they all use. Well,
yeah, they keep telling me to stop being so British about everything. They'll say nice things like, "Oh, shut off, don't say that," and they're like, "No, embrace it." And I'm like, "No, can't do it. Can't do it."
That's the bit I love about them, though, as well.
Yeah, it's wonderful, but it just feels weird and unnatural.
Yeah, I know.
For me, anyway.
But they are. I mean, I think that for me is where the gold is as well. I've come to appreciate now, especially with the changing face of the industry as well.
All the decision makers are there.
Yeah.
So whether they're not shooting in LA anymore, I mean, I know things are starting to brew a little bit, but all the offices are still there, all the creatives are still there. So whether you like it or not, you've got to have a bit of a presence over there.
And everything's co-proing now.
And then I think the Americans are way more receptive to it as well. I feel like the UK is, but you find there's way more of them going on in the US for sure.
Yeah, I see. So it suddenly clicked with me. I think over here for a long time you went to the usual suspects, and you could get some mileage out of that. But I think now that the game's totally changed. So it's a case of whether you want to embrace that or not.
It's a much smaller industry here as well, though, than it is over there. So it makes sense for them to collaborate because there's so many of them.
And shrinking as well. I think the streamers, they've got a lot to support in many ways. I think that's the key, is that the streamers are owned most by the Americans, and so therefore that's where the power is. And until that changes, that's the way it's going to be. They're going to take over cinema.
Yeah.
So soon you're going to have like a Netflix cinema or an Apple cinema or an Amazon cinema. You're not going to have View. You're not. So they will.
Oh, that makes me sad.
That will. Yes.
I mean, have those cinemas, but keep all the others as well.
Yeah, they're going to go out of business because the only people making. This is my sort of like.
Now I'm intrigued.
Ground zero.
Yeah, I'm intrigued.
Nihilistic way.
You get on your soapbox.
Nihilistic. maybe it's, but everything evolves, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course.
So it's like an Apple film. Will that go to a Netflix cinema? No, because Apple will go. No, we're going to make more money by you coming to us, and we've got all these other, films as well. So soon we're just going to be branded even more by what cinema we walk into.
And it'll all be happening on social media, and you won't see a thing.
Yeah. No, I won't.
You'll be oblivious.
No, I'll be oblivious. I'll wait till it comes.
Matt isn't on social media, everyone.
No.
Right, back to your writing. What is it about music that has drawn you? What has drawn you there? I mean, I'm obsessed with music. A lot of people in the industry are.
Yeah.
But what is it about music that's made you write about such icons?
Going back to that sort of Hacienda thing, even as a kid, I had an older sister and older sort of cousins and all that, and just the records, vinyl, and watching Top of the Pops, and just being addicted to. I mean, pop music was our sort of getaway. It wasn't. I mean, even though I loved films, that's what we were all into.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted to be in a band, and I can't play music, I can't sing, but the actual love for music and being part of something like that. And then just, being on the sort of scene when I was 16, going into sort of like cool music. I think that the way that music and words sort of connect for me inside, it's very deep and always has been. I remember songs and I remember lyrics and I can listen to them over and over and over again. It's just like pure poetry for me. And I think that 3-minute mark with my brain as well, just really works. So it was always that case where if something came up, like, Control or John or Amy, if those things came my way, then I would be very, very, very receptive for it. But sometimes it's easy as like just being asked.
Yeah, it's so simple as that.
Do you want to
now you mention it, Matt.
Do you want to do this film about this person? And I was in a very lucky position. I mean, what happened with Control was that.
Oh, what a film, by the way.
Well, that's going to be on my grave. I think this is the bloke that wrote Control. It's like if I elbowed Guy Garvey, he'd have one day and he'd just go, I fucking hate that tune. Can it be any? Can it be any other tune except one day? No, but we all love it. But that's my Control. So I love it, and it's a wonderful piece of filmmaking, and I had no clue that it would end up like that, and that's down to obviously Anton, and a sort of a real energy and enthusiasm that I brought to that writing process, because I was very younger and it was my first film.
Yeah,
and I just wanted to get into film, and I'd seen 24 Hour Party People, and I didn't like it, and I know that everyone else loves it.
Jenny's having a heart attack over there.
Everyone loves that film, and I'm just going, oh man, it's a farce. And it was so much more to that. There was so much more depth to this, and we just got, Steve doing a bad impression of Tony, and Sean Ryder's got a gun and he's just a cunt. Sorry to swear, but and for me, that just going again back to that scene, and the scene meant so much more to me, and I thought that can't be.
Is it because it was so close to your heart? That's why.
Yeah, there was so much more social, and economic issues that could surround it. I don't want to make it like it would be a serious film, but it just wouldn't be as farcical as that. Yeah. I need to watch it again, because I probably was at that time where I was quite jealous that Frank Cottrell Boyce got to write it. Because I remember they had the party at the end where they'd recreated the Hacienda, and it was a golden ticket to go and all that. And I had one, and I didn't go. And it was just like, it meant so much to me. I thought, it's over. And I knew if I'd step on a film set, which was apparently was very good, I know that it might ruin the memories that I had, because then it suddenly isn't real anymore. Yeah. So I was very, very wary. And when the film came out, I just didn't buy it as much as everybody else, but that might have been where I was at that specific time in life. Yeah. So when Ian came up, I was like, oh, got to do that, because that's serious. Yeah. I mean, that's a serious movie. And the total antithesis of what maybe 24 Hour was, even though it wasn't covering the same period. It had a little bit of Ian in the beginning. And again, I thought that was, Michael, I think it was still a great film and everyone loves it, but I think that Ian, I knew that there was a different side to it. And so I actively pursued that job. I got to my agent to say, who's got it? Who's got the book? I'd just written Burn It, which was a BBC Three 21 episodes for about Manchester. I said, I'm a Mancunian writer. Let's see if it can happen. And, I met Debbie and Natalie, and I read the book. And I just was highlighting so much stuff out of it that meant something to me, that I went in with it just like, this is the only thing that I want to do in my life right now. And I think that came out in the script. And then fortunately, Anton was on the same trip, but coming from a director's point of view. Because it was his first thing, and obviously he knew the band, and he was, he was dying to tell that story as well, and that's why. And then the casting of it was brilliant. Again, Jude Law was going to play Ian at some point.
Sam was amazing, though, wasn't he?
You can't think of anyone else now. Yeah. But again, that's down to Anton and
Shaheen.
Yeah.
Oh, Shaheen.
Yeah. So. It really worked out well, and no one wanted to make it, because obviously there's no Hollywood ending there, you know what I mean?
No, of course.
So the fact that it got made, the fact that it's so good, the fact that it still resonates and people love it to this day, it'll go down beautiful. In history. So, very, very proud to be associated with. Sometimes it's a bit weird, and when my mates say, "Oh, he wrote Control," because in the pub, and they go, "Oh," and then everyone just piles over and go, "Oh, did you, mate?" And I go, "Yeah, I did." And I go, "Oh man, it's fucking great." And I go, "Yeah, thanks." And it's kind of weird when that is different to the Americans, because it does resonate with a certain
it was a
age
moment
group.
in time, wasn't it? Yeah. And he was so young, and he could have gone on to do so much more. And then you think, God, if we wouldn't have New Order, if he'd have gone, or maybe we would have. Who knows what would have happened?
He's so deep. Yeah, I mean, because
I
was a New Order fan, and I'll be honest, I wasn't totally aware of Joy Division's catalogue. I knew obviously the hits, and I knew that he was before his time, and obviously about the tragedy. But the deep dive that I did into the music and the lyrics before I started writing was just one of the most troubling periods of my life.
Quite emotional.
Yeah, I know. I did. You just, especially when you're hearing his voice and you know that he's no. And the same with Amy. It's like they're no longer with you.
But at the time.
Yeah. And you're just going, oh God, why?
Yeah.
And then coming out of that, just a total Ian nut, which was, I think, helped with the process. The fact that I wasn't an Ian nut or a massive Joy Division fan before I went into it. So the discovery process,
it was all organic.
The discovery process was really, really deep, especially because of the content that he was talking about and where he was going, which was a bit scary at times.
Yeah. Incredible film. And if that is the one thing that's on your gravestone, I think you should be very proud. Is there anybody you've really desperate to write about that you've not touched on yet? Alive or dead?
Desperate. I mean, I'm at where I am right now is that I'm really not touching any more biopics.
Okay. Kind of been there, done that.
It's just the difficulty in telling the story because you have a lot of compliance to deal with, not just with what you're writing, but everyone who's a real person and has an estate, or especially with music, you're constantly having to negotiate things that aren't necessarily great for the writing process. And I just I have been there, done it, and I'm now kind of just getting those jobs. Like, no one's seen me as anything else, really. So I have to fight against that. This is my Matthew McConaughey moment, you know what I mean? I have to sort of like say no to everything for like £12 million per script. And I don't get that. But I think it's a case of, just part of that. I got, I've written a great script about Shaun Ryder. I mean, sure, that came up about before COVID, and we were far away from shooting that. And Jack O'Connell was going to play Shaun. And we were supposed to start soft prep on a Monday. I was directing it as well.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and the money didn't arrive on the Friday night to start soft prep.
Imagine your producer was sweating.
So the producer, we were on the phone. So where was it? And then we did. Then the budget got slashed because the Mondays don't sell in America, apparently. And I said, well, yeah, everyone should know that they don't sell in America. It's not particularly
That's not new information.
Yeah. So they tried to slash the budget, and unfortunately Jack didn't want to do it for any less. So it kind of went under. But it's a really good script. And hopefully one day someone might pick up on it. But I think it's difficult for any actor to play Shaun. There's not many people out there that could pull that off.
Yeah.
But burning, no, not really for anyone. No,
fair enough. And then when you're saying it's quite hard when you're writing biopics because of the compliance issue, how do you balance like truth and drama? Like, how do you know when to elaborate, when not to? Like, is that quite a tricky process?
You mean self-censorship?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what is truth? I mean, that's always an interesting sort of conversation when you're doing a film or you're writing a script about a real person or real events. At the end of the day, I just say, it's my truth, and you can like it or leave it. But you get to understand where maybe you can or you can't go just before that. So in order to save time in your outlines or in your research, you're not going to go crazy on things that are total, fabrications of everything. But as far as truth is concerned, I always think it's about emotional truth. And I know that could be deemed a bit, vague. But it's like, what character are you putting on the page? Yeah. And in your opinion, and that's the only one that I can sort of vouch for, mine, would that character then behave in that manner? Yeah. Yeah. And if that works and it's entertaining, and the general consensus with the people that I work with think it's entertaining too, and we're not doing a number on anyone, then for me, I think that's sort of fair game. The The only thing that kind of rubs up against me nowadays is the scene in Nowhere Boy where John Lennon smacks Paul and gives him a smack, doesn't he? And I don't know if I'd write that today, but at the moment it worked. It's a dramatic moment.
Yeah. Sure.
Who's to say he never did that as well? I mean, he could have done that. I mean, Paul's never denied it.
I'm sure they had their bust-ups.
Yeah. So, but because it's not documented, everything that I've written about as far as true people has always been backed up by some kind of book somewhere. But what's their truth? Because they probably weren't in on the scene either.
Yeah. Well,
what is truth?
I mean, that's a bit deep for this podcast. I'm not prepared for that one. I'm going to bring it back to our level here. Do you listen to the subject matter's music when you're writing, or do you have to listen to something completely else? Or
no, incessantly I listen to them.
When you're actually writing.
No, I can't write. I can't write and listen to music.
Quiet room.
I can't. I can watch football. So yeah. So
Liverpool fan, are you?
Yeah, massive. Biggest Liverpool fan ever. I'll watch any football.
Yeah.
But if Liverpool are on, I'll watch them as well. But in the evening, when there's football on, I write in the mornings, then I get tired. Mm-hmm. So I have to sort of like get my energy back, and then I come back in for an evening slot. I just make the whole day the writing day. But in the evening, you kind of want to think, don't be sad. Mm-hmm. Can't just be changing the computer. So having football on, and it's better that it's teams that I'm not involved in, makes me feel that I'm actually involved in some kind of life. I'm not kind of sad, that there's something happening, but I'm not. But normally I've written everything longhand, and therefore I'm just typing it up while the football's on. Yeah. It just gives me a sense of, I don't know, that I'm not missing out totally all the time.
There's life happening beyond writing.
Yeah, that I would choose to watch that even if I wasn't writing, which I probably wouldn't. Yeah. But the music side of it, I can't listen to anything when I'm writing. I can't listen to anything apart from bleeding leaf blowers that are just everywhere. I just have a go at leaf blowers. I hate leaf blowers, and they're just everywhere. But that's not my fault. But leading up to that, research-wise, I'll listen to everything, and I will memorize all the lyrics of the songs that I will use in the script. Yeah. So that when I'm calling upon it, as in the writing process, the song's embedded. Yeah. Absolutely. Like, so I don't even need to listen to it again. Yeah. Because, that makes sense. Yeah.
And do you get to a point where like, I can't listen to Joy Division now for like a year? Yeah. I'm sick of listening to this. Not sick of it, but it's too much.
Yeah. And I still find it difficult listening to Joy Division. Yeah. Because of that intense period I had just before writing it. And then, I watched Control with my kids the other week, because I think they were over an age where they saw it, and again I found it difficult. At the end, I just found it really, really difficult. But it's the mad thing is, Debbie I'm one of the few people that have read his suicide note.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's intense.
So I don't think even any of the band read it. But I came out of it thinking, oh God, what happened there? Chicken or the egg? Yeah.
She must have trusted you like so much.
Yeah.
To let you see that.
Yeah. And then I saw Anique as well. I went over to Belgium, and Anique's passed away. So I got all their letters. I think they were just ready. I think when you get someone on at the right time to be able to want to put their side of the story across. Yeah. I think that was the perfect timing of it all. And they were both very, very forthcoming on it. But I don't listen to Joy Division when it comes on. I just the way it's been reclaimed as football songs, as positive songs. Yeah. Especially Love Will Tear Us Apart. I don't listen to Amy anymore, really. But you don't have to not listen. If we go in any shop, any airport, Amy just comes on all the time, so I don't need to stick her on. But I think once I'm intensively gone into those kind of worlds, in any kind of world that I'm writing, I tend to cut the links, to create brain space to move into whatever is next. Because if you just stay there, for me, I've only got a certain amount of gigabytes, megabytes, whatever it is. Yeah. So it needs to go.
I think I'll be the same, because you just attach it to intense moment then, and just takes you back. Doesn't it?
Yeah, and you can go down rabbit holes, and it stops you moving forward. And I have been down that rabbit holes before, and I'm surprised how much they have a hold on me. To an extent, I'll save it all for my retirement. I'll just go back. I've got all my boxes of every project that's been made and not been made. In the loft, and that'll be a good few years just going through all that and remembering all the stuff that it took to get the stuff in the boxes in the first place.
Yeah, no, that'll be fascinating to go through all of that. So to go back to projects, and when things come through the door, when things go in Sue's inbox, how do you pick a project? Is it a gut feeling? Is it sometimes you're just like, I need a job, or like, is it a mix of everything? How do you go, yeah, I need to do that?
Well, in the early days, it used to be a gut feeling. I used to be sort of one of those people that, oh my God, I have to do this. And that has come back and bit me on the arse a few times, because you have to realize what a collaboration this industry is, and not necessarily has people have the same kind of feelings you do on a project. Sean Ryder being one of them, it's like it's such a struggle sometimes, with producers and getting directors and actors and everyone to see it the way that you want to see it. So as I grow older, and I've been bitten in the fact that I've put a lot of time into a lot of projects that haven't been made. I would say less than 50% of my stuff has been made.
Oh wow!
So that I'm heartbroken so many times, which again is probably good for you, because if you can't get up off the canvas, then it's maybe you shouldn't be in the game. But so now as you get older and you're more experienced, you realize that time is finite. You're not as sort of gung-ho as you were as a kid. So you look at the people around a project first. So first of all, it's like, will you wake up tomorrow morning and would you do that project? That will always be the number one. The second one is, will the project get made?
Yeah.
And third, who am I getting into bed with?
Yeah.
And are they wankers, or because there are a few in this industry.
Just one or two.
Probably might say the same thing about me, but you get to sort of sniff them out, and then it's 2 years of your life, maybe more if it gets made. So the process, the due diligence for me has gone up a little bit, and I'm in a very privileged sort of position to be able to do that. And when you're on the bottom rung of the ladder, that you're pretty much getting in bed with everyone.
Well, you just want to start. You just want to write and make stuff, don't you? At the end of the day, And I think that's the same for most people in the art. Like, it doesn't matter if you're a writer, director, actor. You just want to make stuff.
You got to get your name on the board, haven't you?
You got to get some credits under your belt
to be able to go forward. And I think that's probably why a lot of abuse happens to people that are coming into the industry.
Yeah, they don't understand.
No.
Yeah.
Because I worked with Harvey Weinstein.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Oh, he's horrible. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did a little rewrite on My Week with Marilyn.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, on that. And he was flying me out to New York, and I was getting in the back of his Cascade. And it was just, I actually said to Sue, don't let him give me any money. I said, just put me up in a nice place, because I thought, actually, I'll suss him out.
Yeah.
And then if it goes all right, then then we can move on to maybe the next thing. And it was
just slimy and horrible.
Yeah.
Getting shudders now. Yeah. I'm shuddering for you, and I never even met him.
Yeah. I feel, So I wasn't surprised when all that happened.
Yeah. No, I don't think many people were, to be fair. Okay, so when you're writing a script, do you have an actor in mind that you're writing for when you're writing for a character? Or do you write, like you've worked with Sam Taylor-Wood a few times, do you write with people in mind, or do you just write the characters and it's who they are?
Well, on the biopics, no, I go to the real people all the time. I tend to do a massive collage and freezes of all the people that are involved. But then when you're writing something fictional, which I can write, for me, if a director isn't on board at that moment in time, then you've got free range to project who you want to play that character. And I think that helps always put in a face to a name that you're always doing it. It really helps me anyway. There's obviously people out there that I really want to work with. PTA, if you're watching.
I'm sure he listens to this pod.
Because, let me write your next script because your scripts just don't cut it. I nearly got onto the Blue Eyes with Scorsese. Nearly had a meeting.
Stop.
Yeah, that's the only biopic that I maybe would do would be Frank Sinatra with Scorsese and Leo.
Listen to him.
But it did nearly happen. I went to LA for other reasons, and I was supposed to have a meeting because my manager is Scorsese's managers, and then Leo's. He's a mate of mine. He got me on control, and I've made him no money whatsoever. So I was over there for other meetings, and that was the meeting I wanted, and it didn't happen, and it just went quiet when I was over there. So it cost me a lot of money, this meeting.
No way.
But that's probably on a biopic. But as far as there are quality people out there, the reason why I love Sam is because we get on so well. I think we have fun. I think she's a really sparky, creative from her art world as well, coming in from that angle. It's not always plain sailing, but for the most part of it, it's just a ball. I mean, talking about getting into bed with people, then I'd definitely go to her for most things, just because it makes life fun.
Yeah. You know what you're getting into. Yeah,
it makes the whole thing fun. Actors, definitely Jack. We've become quite close. But there's so many good people. There's just not enough time. So normally it depends what the project comes with. Sometimes it already comes with a director. And in that case, you have to sort of really look at who that director is and whether you want to work with them and feel each other out.
You were saying that 50% of your stuff has probably been made.
Maybe less than
50%. Have you ever walked away from a project before for various reasons?
At what stage?
Well, I mean, any stage, like, have you wrote a spec and then, you had creative differences, so you wanted to make a different film than the producers, or it just didn't work out and they made something completely different to what was planned?
I've only walked away once on a job that I've been commissioned for. So that was a HBO job about a child soldier with Kevin McDonald, and I just couldn't crack the plot. It was a one-off, and I was tearing my hair out, and I was getting depressed about it. And I said, "No, you don't walk away. You're going to make this happen." And in the end, I throw my hands up. So I couldn't make it. I couldn't make it work. But I'm lucky to be able to choose what I go all in on.
Yeah.
And a lot of writers don't. They have to, they've got to sort of pay. We all have to pay bills, but they have to sort of keep working constantly. I like to work and then just sort of take perspective of what I want to do next, and that's why the sort of output isn't like Steve Knight's. How does he do that?
Him and Jack Thorne don't sleep. They just
I know, yeah.
Insane,
that's because they get all the jobs.
But they can say no to jobs.
No,
it doesn't sound like they do.
I think they've cloned like a few of them.
Got a little workshop of Jack's.
But no, I think it's a case of I like energy. I just like to just be totally involved in everything and feel that this is the only script in the world that you want to write. Again, going back to that, would you wake up in the morning and do it? And the next, and if it's a no, then you've really got to be wary of it. I think.
Have you got any advice for aspiring screenwriters?
You've got to put yourself out. You've got to have contacts. You've got to like get on people's radars. That's a very difficult thing to do, but you can't get on people's radars just with gabbing all the time. At some point, you have to give them a script.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of writers out there that don't write. And I know it's an obvious thing to say, but you just got to do it. And if people aren't giving you plaudits or giving you money and all that, then you just still got to get on with it.
Yeah. Did you write a lot of spec scripts back in the day when you were starting out writing?
So no, that's what one spec film script about the Hacienda,
and just
and that got me. That got me the agent, but obviously there was. To me, that was a whole load of ingredients going in from a teenager of life experience. That's another thing for young writers as well. I don't mean to seem like the old fogey, but I am. It's like you got to go and live a bit of life. You can't live it through your phones. Good drama is about human interaction.
Yeah.
And, you know, as much as we love to see it happen on our phones, it does protect you from, I think, you know, writing well.
Yeah.
You know, meeting people and observing people
Yeah.
in a real life environment where you can touch them is very important.
Yeah.
You got to get out there. You got to put yourself in uncomfortable positions. You got to, if it is uncomfortable, you got to say, well, I can use this as some kind of material. You can't just shy away from it because it is uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Anything is usable for I think for an up and coming writer.
Yeah.
Any kind of emotion, because that's what our job is to get emotions out on a page.
Yeah.
But again, creating contacts that you can then follow up with and send them a script that they might, even if that script doesn't work, you are on their radar as like a person of
and
note.
it might be timing, like you might just send it at the right time as well, when they're thinking of a project that needs a writer, or they're putting a room together or whatever. Yeah.
There's so many people that have come in and they've just sparkled in a certain way at the right time, and they've been able to get through that door.
Yeah.
It's not easy, you know. It isn't easy at all.
And perseverance as well. I started out in accounts, and I had an accounts background, so I blast my CV out to people. And then the people that replied, they were the ones that I followed up with every couple of weeks. And over my whole career, they were always the people I followed up with, because they were the ones who responded.
Yeah.
Even if it was just like, oh, not right now. They read that email. So it's like, right, don't let them forget me.
Yeah.
And I mean, I worked consistently for 15 years in accounts. So, and that was just from building a network.
Yeah.
And I didn't know anyone.
And people flake out a little bit easier these days. You know, I remember I was doing a talk, a short film thing in Manchester, and, you know, they'd come up and all that. And I watched this young filmmaker's short film, but there was a massive plot hole in it that, you know, you wouldn't be able to get away with it. So instead of just being dead nice, I just said, listen, I know you shot it, but in your next thing, you might want to look, because that obviously wouldn't, you know, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And then she fucking blocked me. It's like she blocked me. I mean, I'm not as a reader, but she's just like, all right, okay.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was up for helping her. I was up for helping her and saying, you know, whatever you want to do. And it's just cried off.
Yeah, some people aren't good with criticism, but if you're a writer, you've got to take that on the chin, haven't you?
Yeah, I think it's important that you learn to take it.
Yeah.
Because everyone's point of view, everyone's take on what you write is important. If people aren't getting it, then you're not going to become a writer. You have to. It's a long,
all usable stuff, isn't it? Yeah.
Everyone has to understand what you're doing, or the broadest sense, in order for it to get out there. It's not an esoteric kind of world, really. Everything has to have a momentum, and everything for a reason.
Yeah.
Everything needs to be meshed as much as possible, so that, you know, what you start in the beginning has a meaning by the end.
Yeah.
You know, otherwise it is just a series of events. Connect everything. And think, if it's not connecting, think of ways why you can connect it. You know, and most of that should be done probably at the outline stage before you get into it. I get the feeling, there's this sort of internal feeling with me where it's not working at the outline stage. There's something missing.
Yeah.
And I'll just sit on it. And I'll know I'm going to put some kind of bolstering in there, a little bit more foundation, and I won't start writing until it's there.
Do you ever share something early on, if like you can't crack what, you know, that there's something's not right? Would you ever share? Yeah, even like an outline or
outlines? Yeah. I mean, because outlines are there to be shared.
Yeah.
Because the quicker you get something like the outline out, the quicker you are on the journey.
Yeah, but something you're not confident with, I mean.
I think I'll say that.
Yeah.
I'll say, listen. And I'll send the outline, and then I'll have a note with it saying, I'm not sure about, you know, the midpoint, you know, or I'm not sure about the turn in sort of Act 3. It feels to me a bit light here or something. So I'll have my own concerns about it before it goes out. And then hopefully those concerns are whittled down. So the more the outline comes down, that email that goes with it gets shorter and shorter to the point where you go, I'm happy with this.
Yeah.
So hopefully you are too.
Yeah.
And that's when you know. But it is weird. Sometimes the notes come back on outlines and you go, oh, okay. And I think, therefore, the team around you is very important. How you trust that. Because it's a problem when you lose trust in producers.
Yeah.
And it's a problem when you lose trust in directors as well.
And you've got to make sure you're getting notes that are real and they're not notes for notes making sake.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of waffle. Like, just be direct. And
that's an issue with, streamers, and because everyone
wants to say their piece, don't they?
Everyone has to prove why they're in the room or on the Zoom. So, if you just say silent and go, it's great.
Yeah.
You might have a job next week, so you've got to say something.
Yeah.
But no, that is a really high-end problem.
Yeah.
And then you can go the opposite side where people are that powerful that no one gives them notes. It's like if you Scorsese or something.
Yeah.
It's like,
I wonder if he gets notes.
No one's allowed.
Really?
Yeah. No one's allowed.
Do you think that's where the phrase "no notes" comes from?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. No notes, just affirmation, please.
Yeah. Anything else bubbling you're allowed to talk about?
There's a film shooting, I think, in January, end of Jan.
Oh, amazing.
A movie, which hasn't been...
a music one?
There is music involved, but it's not a biopic. It's not a biopic. There's good music involved by a very famous Manchester band.
Oh, nice.
And
if it's the Smiths, you've got to tell me.
It's difficult with the Smiths.
I mean, Jenny's a big Fall fan.
Oh, are you? I mean, I'd love to do a play about Mark.
Yeah.
I mean, because everyone loves the Fall, but that would be a hard sell. I think with the wider sort of film community, unless you get a massive star to play Mark. But I think you probably could.
Yeah.
Because everyone who's A-list, everyone's just sort of like from 40 upwards.
Yeah. It's one of those 60. If you know kind of musicians, isn't he?
Yeah. But yeah, Moz, I mean, I'd love to do something about, but Moz has obviously gone off tracks a little bit. Johnny's still brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
That music must be mired in kind of, to be able to do something about the Smiths.
Yeah.
Wow. But
Morrissey's on, and I'm going on a work trip into LA the end of the month, and he's on while I'm there.
At the Hollywood Bowl?
No, somewhere in Inglewood, in some arena, like Inuit Arena, I think it is.
When's that?
End of October. Yeah, I really want to go, but I'm like, is he going to be preachy or is he just going to sing?
I went to him at Manchester.
Was he good?
He was brilliant.
Was he good?
Yeah.
Did he do any of the old stuff?
Yeah. Yeah. It's difficult being a Morrissey fan at the moment, but I think it's one of those, if it's in you and you remember the good times. I mean, that band is embedded in me.
Yeah.
He cut me open and Bleeding Smiths.
Yeah.
I'd love to do a documentary about Moz as well, because I think especially now, you would be really chatty about the world and why he's ended up, with these.
Yeah, well, we should talk after this, Matt.
All right, okay. But who does that? I don't know.
Yeah.
I saw Oasis in LA.
Did you?
I managed to get to the Pasadena Bowl. That was just a few weeks ago, wasn't
it? We did Wembley.
Wembley was great. Yeah, I went to Wembley as well.
Did you go to Wembley? Yeah. We did the first Saturday.
Yeah, I was there. Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't have remembered seeing it because we were all wasted. We were all pretending we were 15 again.
Yeah. I mean, it was weird because I went with my kids.
Oh, did you? Did they love it?
Yeah.
It was just the whole setup though, wasn't it? Like Cast, Richard Ashcroft.
Cast are my fave.
Oh, me too.
I love them.
I love them so much. I love seeing Scousers out in the wild.
They're 50-year-old blokes and they fucking broke the world. You know what I mean?
I know. They're still commanding those crowds.
Never happened before.
Yeah.
Like breaking America in your 50s.
Yeah.
It's just, it's wonderful. And I'm so happy that they're from Manchester and City fans. It's great.
I love it. Right, I'm going to ask our last question. I hope you've had a long think about this one. So to join the club, you've got to tell us what a rogue film or TV choice that we wouldn't think that you would watch. We wouldn't think that was a Matt Greenhalgh special.
Well, I was on it all day yesterday. MTV 80s.
Okay.
Channel.
Just the channel?
I have it on.
So not one specific program, just the channel?
I have it on all the time, just the channel. And Now 80s. I flick between, when you get the donkey advert, I flick over to the Now 80s. It's sort of like keep going.
What's your favourite 80s song then? Because I'm a big 80s fan.
80s? Well, it depends which period. So yesterday was like Spandau Ballet from 81 to 86, right? And you're just like, wow.
Banger after banger.
The pop videos, because they spent loads of money, they all had stories in them.
Yeah.
They were all really well told. And that's when, obviously before, you know, music sort of proliferated and became free. And I just have it on because it makes me understand an innocent version of me, I suppose.
Nostalgia.
You go back and there's no sort of problems around it.
Yeah.
And then I can really get hooked in, but I can also write a bit with that going on in the background. You know, it just feels very wholesome.
Yeah.
In a way. And it's, I would say, and I work out to it as well.
Yeah.
I've got a little gym and I have MTV 80s and I work out. Do something.
What really makes you go for it? What song makes you go for it in the gym?
China in your hand, Sapau.
I'm going to have images of you pumping iron to that now.
You know. And then, but then it all got trendy, didn't it? So I liked a bit of Kylie Minogue as well. Better the devil, you know. But those early 80s, I think that's sort of early adolescence when you're just coming out. You don't really know what cool is, but you just
you know what you like.
You're just addicted to sort of like, oh, it's sexy. It's you're coming into that adult world, and pop music was just sort of gateway to it. Probably the dirty habit is I don't watch enough TV.
Yeah,
I don't watch enough British TV. I think that's an issue. I don't watch enough. I watch films when BAFTA comes out, obviously. When it comes to this time of year, I'm just watching everything that comes out there, a bit lazy. But TV, the dirty habit is I'm in TV or I'm writing TV and I don't watch enough of it.
Yeah.
I thought White Lotus, obviously, you know, Adolescence was brilliant. But I just, with British TV, it's like I know what's going on behind the curtain too much.
Yeah, spoils it a bit for you.
Yeah. I can get locked into Sky Sports, you know, the newscaster.
Yeah.
With all the news, I could just watch that for hours as well. It's like, it's not doing.
Hypnotised by
I spent days in bed just watching, and then it's on a loop, and you're watching it again for like the fourth time. You're like, you know, some player's been sold to Barnes.
Get out of bed now.